Very pleased with what happened today. Proud of our players. I thought they did a really great job of starting the game. Thank you. A lot of energy. Obviously, going up 21-0 was big. Thought our defense made a great stop after we had that gaff on the kickoff return, fumble, and forced a field goal instead of a touchdown. I think that was a big play, big drive for our defense in the first half. Obviously, to start the game with the kickoff return was huge. Isaiah did a good job of finding it, and you know, we played about as good as we practiced on that team. It was a great week of practice on the kickoff return team. I remember watching the film one evening. I forgot what evening it was we did it. But scout teamers flew down the field and everybody got their man, and it just opened up big. And I'm thinking if we could just do that in the ball game, we're going to be all right. And they did a good job there. You know, we talked a lot about starting the second half better for the season. We scored over 90 points in the first quarter, 90 points in the second quarter, over 100 points in the fourth quarter. But I think like 31 points in the third quarter. We just, for whatever reason, offense, defense, special teams haven't started fast in the second half, and so we really made a big point of that, and actually changed a little bit of our routine to get everybody out there, run some sprints, have them gather up, and try to get the blood flowing a little bit before the second half started. And the way we came out the second half was maybe more impressive than how we came out in the first. So just real proud of the team and what they did today, and the coaches, everybody involved. It was a good day.
Coach, all the challenges and travails and everything you have to this point, now it comes down to one home SEC football game. Do you feel like that it's coming together, though, with Todd coming back, Sony coming back today, and kind of everything leading into that game?
Well, it's going to be nice to be home, period. I think it'll end up being about a 42-day span from the last time we played at Sanford Stadium, and just playing there in front of our fans is so meaningful to everybody. And I'm sure our fans' blood will be pumping, our players' blood will be pumping, coaches. I mean, it's going to be an exciting day next week for sure. But, you know, it was a good, you know, we had that stretch, you know, 4 games away from home and open date in there, and a lot of travel. I'm glad we had an early game today and got the victory. We'll get home with a little bit of time to kind of regroup and rest before we start getting cranked up on that plan for Auburn. But looking forward to being home for sure.
Mark, a couple of times Kentucky got within 10 points of it.
Oh, yeah.
What were your thoughts as they closed the gap?
Well, we just got to keep banging away. You know, we talked about. I think some of the things that we were doing well when we were winning was understanding that it takes time to get in position to win a game, so to speak. What I mean by that is you can't just have this mighty blow in the first drive of the game, or even a kickoff return for a touchdown. I mean, hey, that was a great play, and that was if you're talking about a boxing match or knocking a building down or cutting a tree down. I mean, you're just not going to swing the axe one time and knock the tree down. You got to keep chopping. You know, you got to keep banging away. And as we kept saying, it's going to take time. You got to be patient. You got to be strategic. You got to be physical. And you know, I think everybody bought into that. But when they kept narrowing the gap, we tried to prepare everybody that this team's very capable of that. I think they're one of the best offensive teams in the league. I mean, when you watch their film, they're outstanding in my opinion. What they do scheme-wise, I think their quarterback is really good. I really believe that guy's going to play in the NFL. He's 6'4", 6'5", 230, can run like he can. He's physical. He throws the ball extremely well. He's got a lot of poise and confidence. I mean, he's a really good player, and they're doing a lot of good things around him as well. So. And really, year in and year out, their special teams have been some of the best in the league year in and year out. So we knew we had a challenge there, but we rose to it, and for the most part, had a really good day.
Mark, talk about Jonathan Rumph and what he's been through the past 2 months, and then to come out.
So happy for Rumph, I really am, and not only was I happy for him, but his teammates were so happy for him just to see him get in there and play and play big. Made some big plays. That crossing route he caught, kind of took the one-hand stab at, and the long ball where he made the play. And I mean, he really made his presence known, and even became a starter on our punt return and block unit. He's finally healthy, playing ball, and it was just so nice to see him have a big day.
What's Leonard been dealing with this weekend? Did you know that they have to cut on Lorenzo a lot?
Yeah, Leonard's shoulders just been sore. I mean, nothing he couldn't play. He played some, and we were hoping, like you said, we could play Carter a lot more if possible, and just it's kind of cumulative. You play game after game after game, you get sore. Sometimes to the point where it's better to get as much of a rest as possible, and we were able to do that.
How do you think Lorenzo? How do you think Lorenzo?
Ladies first.
I'm sorry.
Having to rely on Lorenzo as much as you did, were you pleased with what you saw from him during the duration?
Well, just from the sideline, you saw him playing with energy. You saw him making some plays. A couple times he allowed the quarterback to break contain on his side when he was in charge of the contain. But energy level is good, and I guarantee you, playing as much as he did and having that much success will give him more confidence.
Mark, what was it you saw from Sony that allowed you to not just play him, but play him a lot?
Yeah, well, Sony, excuse me, it got to the point where the x-rays, the physicians and all decided that he was healed from that point of view, but it becomes kind of a pain tolerance issue. You still might get sore. And we didn't really test him much on Monday, Tuesday. He got thudded up a little bit on Wednesday, but when you watched him practice, you just saw him flying around, running hard. Chubb does a nice job too of setting the tone. Brennan Douglas. I mean, our backs have gotten in a really great habit with the leadership of Brian McClendon to every time they touch the ball, they're flying down the field at least 40 yards, if not more, to try to stay in condition as they go. But just watching him run, he looked confident. He looked like he was, ready to go, and he was excited about playing. And a couple times during the week, I asked him how he was doing. I asked Coach McClendon how he thought he was doing, and he said, "Coach, the kid wants to play." And sometimes when you're coming off an injury, you're tentative. Sometimes you're ready to go. And his first run, he got some yards after really good contact up the gut. I think he ran into a linebacker, and obviously that was a good physical shot, and he held up well. So I probably gave him confidence to finish the game.
Mark, when you being in the job almost 14 years, ups and downs. I remember being in this little room in 2006, and it wasn't a very good thing.
I hated this room.
Yeah, but the past week, was that one of the more difficult ones you've had, or the program has had?
It was a disappointing loss for sure. But I say it a lot, and it's true. You get up, you go to work. You go to the Butts Mary and you start working, and every minute of the day is pretty much taken up by some type of task that has to get done. So you're just focusing on your job. You're focusing on getting ready for the next one. You first off focus on what went wrong and what you need to correct, whether it's scheme or effort or just the way you do things, But you kind of get back to work, and so I will say I got some interesting text messages from people that kind of like when you go to church and they tell you they're praying for you. It's kind of bad out there, I guess, but it's part of the job. It's part of the position, and Coach Bowden, when I was at Florida State, said it over 30 years ago. If you can't take criticism, then don't coach. Do something else for a living, and if you're in a leadership position, then you're going to get it from time to time. But now, how you're going to react to it is important, and I think everyone did a good job.